Well, here we are back again, and what we're going to do now is to pay a visit to New York. Friday is our New York day normally, Friday and Monday, when we pay visits to correspondents and our friends and colleagues in the Big Apple to find out what's going on. But a little while ago, in fact, Thanksgiving time, one of our correspondents, Connor Winton, went into the kitchen to do an alternative turkey Thanksgiving meal, and he he did an interesting job, and as usual, as I've got it here, and I can't find it. Here we go. Yes, as I kind of did a decent job in the kitchen, showing us what some Americans now eat at Thanksgiving time, and it is an opportunity to take a look at some alternative cooking. So let's do that now, and then we'll worry about other things as they come along. Okay. Well, there's nothing more than I like in a bit of turkey. And the Americans celebrate, and it's a big celebration, Thanksgiving on the 25th of November. And that's coming up. We're playing this a day ahead, but everybody will be enjoying themselves tomorrow. And it's a public holiday, and lots of feasting and drinking. And of course, it's all to do with when they actually harvested in the times of the Pilgrim Fathers, who were saying thank you to God for all the bountiful things that seem to be there, including turkey. But not everybody in the United States now celebrates with turkey. In fact, our man Connor Winton, who is a correspondent in New York, or one of our correspondents, has his own idea about what makes a good Thanksgiving, and it's nothing to do with turkey. So let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Connor, and I'm coming to you from New York, USA. Here to teach you about some American Thanksgiving classics: green bean casserole and stuffing. Alright, so now we're going to be making some green bean casserole, another Thanksgiving classic. Right here, we got ourselves some nice parboiled green beans and a little bit of salted water, right? And classic what goes with this green bean casserole is a cream of mushroom soup. There are quarter mushrooms out here alongside some butter and some garlic. Alright, so as the mushrooms are frying up here, nice and good, we're going to add a little bit of flour to that, but while we're doing that, we're going to be frying up some onions to put on top. These are a little deep frying, a little bit of oil. Give it 5-10 minutes, and nice and golden brown, I'll put them on top. Alright, so I put some flour into the mushrooms here. See, it's all-purpose flour here. Combine a little bit of fond, a little bit of stuff on the bottom. And what we're doing here is we're essentially making a roux. You know what a roux is? It's a combination of fat and flour. It's kind of thicken up our soup, sort of nice and well. So I'm going to glaze with a little bit of red wine vinegar, just to give it a little bit of bite. Don't want it to be too flat. And of course we're going to add in our vegetable stock, because we're making this in the vegetarian way. Sure the heat comes up. So add a little bit at a time here. See, it's turning nice and deliciously thick and tasty. We got the flour in there. And now we're going to add our half and half. Alright, so we're going to add a bay leaf or a bay laurel here. And a little bit of freshly grated nutmeg. You really got to use the stuff that's fresh grated. I know it's a fad. I know people are saying whatever about it, but please, it's so much better. Our cream mushroom soup. We're going to put this right over our delicious green beans, nice and healthy. We're just going to mix that right on up. We got all that wonderful sauce. A little noisy here. Mix that up. Give that a thorough mixing. Give that a thorough mixing. Thorough is how Americans say thorough. Some Americans. You're right. Alright, so we got our fried onions. And we're just going to put those right on top. That nice and brown and golden. Wonderful flavors. This is really like a key element of Thanksgiving for a lot of folks. You know, this is the it sort of steals the show a lot of times. Having this as a kid, that's the best part of it. Crispy little onions on top, salted, pretty fish. All the onions on top. Go. Alright, so we got our lovely green casserole right here. We're just going to let this cool down until it's at a nice serving temperature. Well, I hope you enjoyed these recipes. As you can see, we have a wonderful green bean casserole and delicious stuffing.
Looks great, Connor. And thanks. And I join you for Thanksgiving this year for having a bit of turkey. I'm so traditional. Oh, there you go. So that was the alternative if you were in the United States and didn't want to partake of turkey. Now, we are going to invite Melissa if she's actually out of bed, because remember, right now it is 9:42 here. In the United States, it's 4:42. They, God bless them, they get up out of bed ungodly hours just to join us, and so we always have to take a little bit of a chance as they haven't slept in. But before that, we'll just see if we got one other little showing of some of interest, and one of the things that we've got is we could show a little bit of a bottled poetry, not a whole lot, but this is our good friend Fergus Wood and Annie Verrill sharing a bottle of wine together. Oop-de-doo.
Hello and good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Here we are with the second episode, which is all about wine tasting for all the people out there who are wine connoisseurs or just want to know a little bit more about the wines themselves. So we have with us Mr. Fergus Wood, who will introduce himself and tell you all about his company. Hello, Fergus.
How you
Please
doing?
tell us more about yourself. I'm well, and once we get through all these wines, we'll be even better, probably. How are you?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It'll be a great way. We're recording this at lunchtime, so hopefully it should get us
Indeed.
into the afternoon quite nicely. Yes. And
Just the
Thursday-
right time for it.
Exactly. Thursday's the new Friday as well, so at least we're starting early. It's good.
Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah.
great.
So yes, I'm Fergus Wood. I'm the founder of Camino del Vino, as you can tell in the background. We're basically, I'm a new startup. We're about to launch a new startup, online wine startup, where you can find us at www.caminodelvino.co.uk.
I think it's very clever of you to have started this company because I myself, I don't know much about wine. I know there are 3 different colors.
Yeah. There's 3 main colours, but there's orange wines as well. But we'll go with that.
There we go.
Let's keep it simple to start with.
Shall we leave that for later?
Yeah.
Let's have red and white
Let's
later
white
on
and
for
rose,
now.
yeah.
Okay, great. So last time you were about to start talking about this beauty here,
Yeah. Go,
Wonderful.
Go with a pearl earring, yes.
which is a Merlot.
Correct.
Lovely. Here it is, and it's Chilean, is it?
It is Chilean, yes, correct, yeah.
Great.
So it went by a different name, the portrait, or the painting, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what it is, or don't really know.
That's fine.
But
Yeah.
it's now just known as the girl with the pearl earring because it is so iconic and so distinct.
Indeed.
But this particular Merlot is also great for the region. It just thrives in the Central Valley, and the Central Valley it's sort of wedged in between the Andes on the east coast, and then it's got small sort of low-lying mountains on the west side. So it really tucks in below there. And Chilean climate is very Mediterranean. It's very warm and sunny. But then sort of that it gets that through the day. But then when the cool climate from the top of the Andes comes down, when it comes into the night, it starts to cool all the vineyards down, so it helps mellow out sort of the growing conditions basically, so it doesn't go ahead of itself really. It doesn't wear itself out through the growing season, so it like sort of cools itself down. So it doesn't need to start photosynthesizing, and yeah, it basically ends up with a lovely, elegant wine at the end of the day, and which we hopefully crack onto now.
I love the way you told that story. You should be a teacher. It's like a nice piece of geography and a little bit of history, and it's the story behind it. Well done. Can I open the bottle now?
Yeah, should we do it? Yeah. Crack on. Let's see why not. I left mine annoyingly in a storeroom outside, so it's a little bit cool, but I think yours should be at a good temperature.
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't want it. Red wines, you want them to be like 16 to 18 degrees, sort of like if you have them at room temperature, you should be fine. But mine's a little bit chilled at the moment, but you should just be fine. You should still get the same flavors, which is good. So
Okay. Right. Let's open that up. Now, before anyone judges out there, this is what we decided on having the red in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not a very big
good.
wine connoisseur, I just grabbed whatever glass I had at home. I just wanted to make sure it's not a pint glass.
No. So it's very good. So if you hold it up to the camera, you can
Yeah.
see that in a bulb shape.
Yeah.
Sort of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very good for wines in general because it helps collect all the aromas and flavors rather than let them go. So when you do swirl it around and when we go and sniff the wine, you can actually smell all the flavors that are in there. And so it just helps those sort of pinched in walls help the flavors and aromas bounce off and keep inside. So, and where you want to fill it is just below the sort of the widest part of the bulb.
Here?
Just want it, about there. Just fill it out,
Just below the
taking-
widest part. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to fill it at its widest part. You just want to fill it slightly below, especially for tasting, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'd say that you don't want to. Later on after the recording, you can fill it right back up.
No.
Just for tasting, you want to let all the aromas just tuck in. Whereas if you filled it a little bit higher, they may just sort of go out.
Also, let me just ask about the top. Now, of course, many people believe that if it's not a corkscrew, then it's no good. If it's just a screw on, what's the truth behind this?
So, there is a slight bit of truth in that. Yeah, a lot of one of my friends as well. He's very, especially for like these sort of wines, South American wines that do have a corkscrew. He just doesn't. He doesn't believe that good red wines should not be in a corkscrew. It's they should have a cork in it basically. Just because it's like, what the cork does essentially, it just imparts a different level of flavour onto the wine that maybe the winemaker wants to do. But it's just, again, it could be a cost factor, or it depends very much dependent on what the winemaker wants to do. But I guess it is sort of genuinely true that a lot of the cheaper wines do have screw caps, because it does cost a little bit more to put corks in, redesign the bottle and all that sort of stuff. But there are still very good examples of wines which have corks, twisty caps, screw caps on the top. And so again, it's just like, it's one of those really that you can just take it as you will. Hopefully you'll like this one, and so, which is a good example of it being a good wine and needing a screw cap. But yeah, it's just it imparts a different flavor onto the wine basically.
Good. Well, thank you. You demystified that.
You're testing me today.
I told you I'm a novice, so whatever pops in my mind, I shall ask. I don't know if it's silly or not, but
I like it.
Very good. So now to the important part.
The important.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Yeah, that's great. I got
Lovely.
that. So yeah, what you
swirl.
You just want to give it a quick swirl. And you should be able to, if you just gently put your nose over it, I can sort of, you can smell it already. You should be able to smell like fruit flavors already.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so they're quite typically, especially for this Merlot, they're typically red fruit flavors, so such as strawberries.
I was going to ask, is there strawberry in there somewhere?
Exactly, yeah. So that's very typical of a good Merlot, and sort of representing what the grape can offer, basically. And so yeah, give it a big swirl, and then if you want to dig deeper, put your nose in it, and you can try and pick up, especially if you do go a little bit deeper, some sort of floral notes as well that maybe the wine should have as well, that could be present in this. If you can smell it, I can definitely.
Oh dear. No.
What are you getting?
Floral. What type?
If not, no worries. If your nose may not be particularly as attuned as mine, but it's something you may get to develop on later on.
All right.
Yeah. You may as well be able to pick up maybe a slight bit of bell pepper sort of flavor, like green pepper.
Herbaceous.
Yeah, herbaceous. Yeah.
Interesting. You see, I would never have associated green bell pepper with wine.
There we go. Yeah.
It's healthy. It's full of fruit and vegetables. We need more of this.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And then
very good.
So we passed the first test. We've done the smelling. So these sort of flavors as well that you can pick up in the aromas essentially of the wine. You should be able to taste as well when we start to sip the wine as well. So they should be basically, whatever you pick up in your nose should be fairly representative of what you pick up on the mouth as well. But sometimes you may be able to find a couple more flavors that are, for instance, you could not smell on the nose that you could then pick on the tongue.
Right.
That's just it's dependent on the wine, basically. And it's very like, it's just whatever. Taste is very personal after all. So what you can taste and what you can't taste is entirely up to the person doing it, basically. So yeah, we should wait and see.
So turn out I am very rubbish at this, but let's give it a go.
What you want to try and do is when you sip it, you want to try and let the mouth sort of the wine sort of cover the inside of your mouth. So try and swish it around as if you're using mouthwash, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get a real, especially for red wines, because they contain tannins. You get this sort of general feel and sort of slight covering, but it's a really pleasant covering of your mouth, and it's a slight drying texture to it as well, which is very representative of red wines. And that's what a lot of people do sort of like, is that sort of slight drying sensation, which helps sort of, yeah, it's just nice, really. I don't really know how to explain.
You can tell a very good story. Right. Let's see. That's very nice.
Good.
Don't ask me about fruit. I already told you the most important.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll just get. That's what I'm saying. As soon as if you pick it up in the nose, just write it down whenever you're tasting. If you're doing a tasting thing, the same again. I've got the exact same one. But yeah, can you sort of feel on your tongue a slight dryness? Yeah, that's what tannins are, basically. There's slight dryness, and this particular Merlot as well, given the region that it grows in and the climate, and quite like medium. It's sort of they're not too in your face. That some wines we may explore later down in the line. They're not too like really boom, but they're not too sort of soft. It's a nice middle ground. It's a nice like midweek wine, I'd say. You just get on with it.
It's very easy to drink.
Yeah. It's a good conversation wine, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Talking about the label, and then you have a sip, and then you're like, they matched it beautifully, I think.
Very good. So would you say that different red wines contain more or less tannin, or is the amount of tannin the same? It's not, is it?
Well, in red wine making, for instance, the tannins particularly come from the skins, and maybe sometimes the stems that especially in the classic vineyards that they use, they sometimes put the stems in with the fermentation process. But the skins contain most of the tannins, and this is what is distinguished between red wine making and white wine making, is that red wine fermentation process contains all the skins in it with the wines, with the grapes, so all the grapes, whereas in the other one, they crush and then press the white wine, so that it's just the juices that are fermented.
So there's no skin?
So there's no skin at all, yeah. So that's why tannins, you will never feel tannins in white wine.
White wine.
Yeah, it's only applicable to red wine. Yeah.
I like this.
Yes.
Yes, I don't think I like the red wines that contain too much tannin, because when I taste that dryness a bit too much, I can never explain it. It seems, I don't know what's the word for it. What's the best word? Is it too dry then, or too something? But I can never explain. But
it's just,
taste, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, it's quite intense, isn't it? Especially when you do get a big bombshell in your face, in your mouth, of a big tannin grape. It's not for everybody's liking, definitely. But I think definitely this one is a lovely sort of evening. Pop it on
by the fire
party. Now they're in, maybe outside of lockdown periods with other people, friends and stuff like that. You can have a couple of bottles of these on a Friday or Saturday night and let everything go. Yeah.
Even for an everyday wine with some food, or in the evenings, I would definitely recommend. It's very, very nice.
Yes.
Right, just a little bit more and then I'll put it away. Very nice. I feel like I want to eat it.
Good. Can you feel as well? I noticed on my last golf as well, like my tongue being sort of quite fresh in itself. There's like a minty flavour. That's quite indicative as well of the sort of region and Merlot. It's quite like a lovely little just fresh, minty eucalyptus sort of feel as well, which again would be the herbaceous sort of side coming into it as
The green
well.
peppers, right?
The green peppers, the same sort of category, yeah.
Right, so girl with the pearl earring, I agree. It's very, very good. Very tasty. Thank you very much. I hope one day you will return with another arty wine.
I do. I have another one. I have a Sauvignon Blanc, which we could do, also from Chile as well. So this would be a great opportunity to go, okay, we've done the reds, now we can move on to the white side of Chile. And especially Sauvignon Blanc, one of Chile's best white wine, great varieties that it produces as well. So.
Thank you very much, Fergus. This was very, very nice. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I shall try it later again, just in case. See if I can recognize the bell peppers later on.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you very much. We shall be back next time. Thank you. Thank you to the viewers, and thank you to lovely Mr. Wood.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Well, there we are. And Fergus tasting the wine there. Now we're going to pause, and we'll. I think yes, we'll take a break. We shall be back at I think it's 10:15. Let's see. Is that? That's back at 9:30. That's the other one. Right. There we are, back at 10:15. And hopefully we'll have Melissa with us. And if not, we will take a look at some of our past programs. An interesting morning so far, and it's a Friday, and it's been pretty laid back. We'll yes, we will return in let's see, what is it now? 10 o'clock exactly. We'll return probably a little earlier than that, and just carry on for another half hour or so. And just for the moment, sit back and just enjoy. Let's just try and a little something to keep you amused, shall we? And here we are. We're going to come back because we have the very beautiful and talented mother of the boy who just, I shouldn't say boy, the young man who just taught us the alternative to Thanksgiving and what you can have instead of a turkey. So, one way or another, we just have to find where we are. There we are. It is all her beauty. And lovely to see you.
Good to see you.
We have missed you the last couple of weeks, but that's been my fault. Occasionally, I overdo it in terms of trying to do too much and, and so I don't get as much done as I should do. But I'm back on form, and we've just, I don't know whether you were watching, but we've just seen Connor doing his alternative to the Thanksgiving Day turkey.
How are you, Keith? How are you doing?
All right. Yes, it takes a lot to keep a good man down, as they say.
Very true. Very true.
And as usual, the people at the White Hart Hotel, where you spent some time, as gracious as ever, as much fun. I came in this morning. Jane had got the building blazing with light, blazing with fire. She's just an absolute darling because she lays out all my material. All I have to do is to sit down and talk. And they're all like that here. It's a terrific hotel. Old, creaking a bit at the seams, but terrific. And Sally, the owner, was up this morning very early too. She was in having a little chat. So all in all, it is a lovely day. And what's happening outside is that we are getting not quite sure what temperature is about 9 degrees. So it's heading back towards summertime. What's it like there?
Let's see. How do I put it? Minus 16?
Minus 16. Are you kidding? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
no,
gonna get very, very cold. Very, very
yes.
cold. It'll be quick, and then next week it'll warm up. But we're getting a slap from Canada.
Ah, right. Oh, they export that from time to time whenever they don't feel like having it. Yeah. And is it snowing?
There is a light snow. It hasn't
Ah.
nothing heavy, but it's the temperatures that are the problem.
Right. Now, are you going into New York proper today?
I haven't decided. I haven't decided that yet. It's yeah, I do enjoy going in. I do. It's just it's about a 3-hour commute total back and forth, and I'd rather be doing something else. But we'll have to see. I might go in with my son and you know and kind
Right.
of enjoy my Friday. Yeah.
Now, since Connor just starred, bring us up to date with him, because it is one of the things that it's almost like a soap opera. The Conti Winton family, the Axis, is it's almost taking over the world. And the latest adventure was that he was waiting to see whether he's going to fly fast aircraft. He was doing excellent things for NHK television in Japan. And it was busy cooking in the kitchen. And I'll bring you up to date with the beer in a minute.
Ooh. Let's see. So he continues to work at NHK. He sadly they covered that funeral yesterday in Memphis. You all have heard of a horrible police brutality case. And he was actually, prior to that, he went to Key West, Florida, and was doing a story on immigration, and he picked me up a key lime pie, which is absolutely delicious. And that was for my birthday on Tuesday. I turned 60. And
Goodness gracious me, that's ridiculous. You don't look any more than 40. And even then, that'll be stretching it. Goodness
well, I
gracious
feel
me.
young. I guess that's what matters.
You look young. I mean,
Oh, well, thank you, Keith. Thank you.
oh, wow. I mean, every time I look at you, I think, my God, she's my great-granddaughter.
Pretty soon I'll be your great-great-granddaughter.
Wow.
It's all good,
Oh, that's
Keith.
lovely.
It's
Well, I
all
hope you
good.
had a good birthday. Did you have one of the famous Conti birthdays? I have to tell you, everybody, that when the Conti Wintons get together, it is hilarious because the cousins and the aunts and the uncles all come, and they behave like the way that we expect New Yorkers to behave. They're absolutely hilarious.
It is very hilarious. I actually, in November, I'll be going to a family wedding in Cabo, in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. They're doing a destination wedding. I'm like, oh yes, I'll be there.
What's a destination wedding? That's a new one on me.
It's where you go to a foreign country, or you go to, you know, Bahamas, or things like that. London, I don't know.
And get
And
married
then,
overseas.
yeah, and then you go to a different country and you have the wedding there, and you bring all your guests there.
Ah, that's terrific.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Oh, that's wonderful. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since we saw you. Bring us up to date with your activities, and give us also a little bit of the politics, because strangely enough, well, not strangely enough. I mean, as you're well aware, because you keep an eye on the global economics as well as American economics, is we're having a very, very bad time here, with vacillating at the top, little leadership being shown. All in all, the UK at this very moment in time is in a mess. And out of all the G7 countries, it is forecast that it's going to have the worst growth record. In fact, we actually are going to go back a little while. The Prime Minister, of course, is strutting the stage saying, oh, don't worry, that's only going to last next year. Ah, thank you. Then it'll all be all right. But what's happening with President Joe Biden? I mean, the last really that we got excited about was when he more or less told President Putin to go stuff it, and that they were going to help, particularly with some of the high-powered aircraft that Connor hopes to fly. Putin was saying, no, don't do that, otherwise whatever it is that he threatens everybody with will happen. So where do we stand on both Ukraine and on the United States generally?
Well, Ukraine, we're sending the Abrams tanks in, so we're basically fighting a proxy war, certainly. Yeah, so we're continuing our support. And let's see, in terms of domestically, well, we're going through a tough patch as well, but maybe not quite as tough as what you're all going through. Our markets are starting to rebound. Some of our numbers came out, like Apple yesterday missed forecasts. Not that I'm crying, but the Federal Reserve raised the rates quarter percentage point this week to try to curb inflation. The problem is there's so much money out there that it's tough, and I think I don't know, myself certainly not included, but there's a lot of consumer spending out there, and so there's still a little bit of threat of inflation. It's starting to come down a bit here, but certainly not enough. And I certainly don't know. I don't think our Federal Reserve is going to take their foot off the gas pedal in terms of the tightening policy. So, well, I mean, interest rates, they've been close to zero for such a long time. It was absolutely ludicrous. Free money, yeah, everybody's going and having a party. Was there any wonder that we have high inflation? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Anybody, I mean, a sixth grader could have predicted that. As far as UK though, I don't know. That's a bit of a mess. What's happening with all of your the work actions? I know when I was there last time, I got caught in the railroad actions, the slowdowns, the work to rule. It was like they were just playing a game with the railroad tracks, getting everybody to move from one track to another. It was, the trains have been delayed because of, I forgot what the term was, but it was constant, like they weren't repaired, or there wasn't, repairs were not done, or.
Well, actually, the trades union leaders, almost all of them, sat down and watched you here last time, and they liked you, and they said, give her an easy ride. Because last Monday, now they know that you're safely back in the United States, is they created the perfect storm, the perfect strike. Everybody went on strike all at one time.
Wow. Now, how long was that?
Well, it was only a 24-hour strike, but I mean,
still,
that doesn't mean to say they're taking their foot off the pedal. They're just not doing it necessarily all together. but you have no idea whether you can travel by train. You have no idea whether you can send your children to school. You have no idea whether you can get an ambulance. I mean, it's right across the board. And there are a few lesser unions as well that we pay very little attention to until we can't get what it is that they have to offer. So yes,
It sounds like the whole country's on strike, Keith.
it is. I mean, it's as close to a general strike as we've ever come, I think. I mean, the last one was in 1920 something.
So why is this happening? Are people really that discontent in the UK? It must be very bad.
Well, we're becoming a very high taxed society because Jeremy Hunt has decided that that's the only way to beat inflation, and he's not taking his foot off the pedal. The Prime Minister has decided that he isn't going to make any concessions at all in terms of growth or interest rates or whatever. So that's compounding. And actually, I hadn't realized because I suppose that I haven't paid too much attention because, like everybody else, I've been looking at lockdown and the effects of that, is that wages have not actually increased as much as one would expect to be reasonable. And so now, coming out of lockdown, the workforce is saying, oi, it's time that you actually paid us some more money. And they're asking just at the time when there ain't any more money around. So it's a very difficult situation. I feel a little bit for the Prime Minister, but they really are the second string. As Stuart keeps on saying, is Boris was very clever in terms of self-preservation. He put around him people who have not a great deal of skill, so that they were no threat. But then when he went, they were the people left in charge, and they really are charging around the country without much of a plan, to be quite honest with you. So we've got an election in about a year's time, and I think hurry up the year. Except I don't want to wish my life away, but.
So do you see the Conservatives being booted out? What do you see?
Well, it's difficult to say. Strangely enough, even though the Conservatives have got their second stringers in place, so has Labour. And whereas some of the elder statesmen that we had who were socialists knew how to take advantage of a situation and to actually propose an alternative. Now we've got a lot of me's who get very bitter and they lash out at what they see as those people who are making themselves rich. And in lashing out, is they've forgotten that what they've got to try and do is to solve some of the problems. They're just saying the same thing as everybody else is, oh, gimme, gimme, gimme. So the polls are showing that people are not terribly fooled by them. And there is some belief that the Conservatives just might squeeze back in again. But if they do, I hope they've learned a lesson.
Now, I understand the head of the Conservative Party didn't he have a bit of a tax issue?
Yes, he did. Rather more than that. I think that
a little tax issue, just a teeny.
Well, just about £5 million of his own money he forgot to declare.
Oh, listen, it can happen to anybody, Keith. Okay, it happens to you too. It happens.
Oh yes, yeah. I mean, I'm happy to say that my £5 million I hid about 10 years ago.
You see what I'm saying? They're so completely out of touch.
Oh, there we are, you see. But I mean, the fact of the matter is I do have a strong belief. I mean, as you well know, I'm a private enterpriser, I'm a free trader. I have just a natural tendency towards conservative thinking. But I have to say that I think that we have lost the plot in this country, and we don't really quite know what we want to do. And I think that we've got to start to rethink our whole philosophy and start to instill some sort of ideals and aims and objectives. because where we stand at the moment is sticking plaster. Oh, that's going wrong over there. Let's put a bit of sticking plaster on it. Oh, that's going wrong over there. Put a bit of sticking plaster on it. Nobody has the courage to actually turn around and say, right, okay, we're in a mess. Let's get ourselves out of it, which is patently, obviously happening in the United States. And in many ways, I'm glad that it is, because you went through a very rough period with the previous president.
Yeah, he was entertaining. Anyway, yeah, he's running again. We have leadership issues as well. So we're talking about two nearly centenarians running again for office. It's like, come on, guys, can we get some younger leadership going? But it's interesting because, looking at UK versus US, and you being more of a conservative free market thinker, is that free to say? It depends on how free you're looking for it to be. Now, we've talked before about, say, just the subject of healthcare. If you were living here, our healthcare system right now, if I didn't have a job, I wouldn't have healthcare. I wouldn't have any insurance. And so, you have to ask yourselves, is our system a pretty good system, and can we make it a little bit better, or should we just simply abolish it to the free market? Yeah. So these are questions you'd have to ask yourself.
Yes. Well, I mean, I tend to be fairly straightforward about the NHS, and that is that I think that we have just excellent doctors and nurses. I mean, having been in hospital a couple of times myself, not really quite seriously, but I have Parkinson's, and that occasionally ends me up there. And this last week I was in to have I had a cataract removed, and it went wrong, and they're putting it right. At that level, it is splendid. But the NHS, like all totally government organizations, gets lost in bureaucracy. So it costs, $50 to change a light bulb and 20 people to change the bulb. So it's at that level that the reform is needed, not at the relatively free healthcare that we get. I am lucky because, I mean, I just peaked over 65. So I get almost everything free. I'm very lucky in that sense, and I wouldn't want to see that changed for other people, having experienced it myself. But by the same token, I think that somebody has got to take the bull by the horns and say, we've got to reform the organization. We've got to reform how we run it. Because in the past, what we've done is we've thrown money at it, and that's not an answer to every problem.
Right. No, I agree. There needs to be more efficiency. For example, if you were here in the States, you'd be on our Medicare, and that would cost you, because you'd have Medicare, and then you'd have to have a supplemental insurance. So you'd probably be spending about $400 a month.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah, in insurance.
Yes.
Hoping that everything is covered.
Is that dollars or pounds?
Dollars. So you would have to pay that in insurance premiums.
Yeah. Yes, just to make sure that you got even the basic care.
That's basic. Yeah. If you want anything more, you'd have to pay more.
Yes. I must say that when I worked for the Americans in Kosovo, I was given a private medical care. So I did have to have one small operation, which took me into private hospital, for a day. And I have to say, how the other half lived, because I went into the private ward, private room, and I was given the little bib type nightshirt that they give you, and so on and so forth. And they said, "Are you comfortable? Now, would you take a look at this?" And it was the wine list. Yeah. Now, what wine would you like with your lunch? And now we'll show you the menu. Yes, I can live that sort of life in the hospital.
You get what you pay for, so you're going to have to pay. One way or the
That's-
other, you either pay out of your pocket or you pay in tax.
yeah. Well,
But you have to pay.
I'll send Joe Biden a note because he was paying on this particular occasion.
Right, exactly. So I do have to say is our Medicare is actually, my father was very well taken care of. Now he did pay the $400 a month, but he got very good care. His cataracts were perfect, and he had very dangerous glaucoma, a very rare form of glaucoma, and
Yes.
his eyesight was fantastic after that operation. So, and his heart operation was perfect. It was,
Yeah, you get first class care.
he did get very good care.
Yeah.
I mean, it costs money though. You have to pay the money.
Yes. Yes.
So,
No, quite right. Now let's turn to your own experiences, because you were over here for what, over a month, and you went to places like Stonehenge.
I love that. I love that. I mean, it was just, I know it's a bunch of stones, but it was so, it was just very amazing. I just found it so amazing, and so there was a peacefulness about it, and I loved it there. I absolutely did. I don't know. It was just amazing,
It
really.
is a mystery, isn't it, how they
It is
got
a
their
mystery.
stones
I don't know
there?
what it is, Keith. It was so, yeah, it was like, wow, I just felt so much at peace. I loved it because I had a lovely
Oh, it's very
companion.
spiritual. I mean, it
It was
really is.
very spiritual.
I'm a great believer. I mean, strangely enough, and I think you'll understand this, a lot of other people perhaps don't, is I walk into this hotel every morning and there is just something about the history, and particularly with Tom Paine having spent so much time here, is that there is something in the air. There is something which, I could come in through the front door thinking, oh God, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm tired. And within 5 minutes, I'm caught up in the magic of this hotel, and I'm ready to sort of take on the world again. I think that places like Stonehenge have that effect on you, don't they?
Absolutely. I was, I had gone prior, and I guess I didn't really understand the enormity of it. And so when I went this time, well, I mean, I had a really great companion compared to last time. So that was helpful. But yeah, I just, it's interesting. My cat is scratching the cabinets, if you hear that sound. Stop. Yeah, we met this group. It was like a tribe from Brazil, and they were there. They were in the UK in a court matter against, was it BHP, the mining company that had destroyed their river in 2015 with an industrial spill, and they were there to get reparations, and they were playing music and dancing, and it was just so surreal. And we met their attorney. It was just such an adventure. But even just driving out there, like, I just love driving in your countryside. It's just so beautiful. Really, it truly is.
I do love the English countryside, I must say. Yeah.
Just
Where
driving
else did
through
you
it.
go? Where else did you go?
Well, we went to Lewis a couple of times, and
Good morning. Oh, here's Lena. Come to say hello to you.
hello.
There we are. Russia meets America. Oh, thank you. She's brought me my biscuits, my breakfast biscuits. Right? And you tell Mark to watch out, because she'll try and get you married to me any minute now.
Yeah.
Yes. We have these lovely characters who wander in and out of this hotel. I mean, I pat myself on the back sometimes, thinking I had a stroke of genius, Keith, deciding to do this. So it's. I always argued in our industry that I never understood, even when I was in radio way back in the 1960s. I never understood why we dealt in sound and built cabinets to keep sound out. and some people say, yeah, but Keith, there's lots of noise and so on. And even young Max said, oh, well, we'll hear things from the street. Yeah, we're supposed to hear things from the street. The street is there. Traffic is there. It defeats me totally why people want to cut out sound. So to have people wander in like later is just... and not only that, but she'll have a glass of wine ready for me after the broadcast.
Very nice.
It's a ritual. All right. Sorry. Now, where else did you go?
Well, we met Princess Alexandra.
Oh, did you?
That was very lovely in London, at your club.
Oh, right. Well, she was a guest of the club, was she?
Yes, she turned the lights on the tree. It was very lovely.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was just so much fun. She was very charming, very sweet.
Yes.
Beautiful lady. She had a wonderful aura about her.
Yes. That's
So
wonderful.
that was wonderful.
In my souvenirs, in my photographs, I got the tree taken in something like 2011.
Okay.
Because I've been a member of that club since 1997, so I go back quite a long way. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to another friend because we've been struck by a lot of illness, of course, particularly my group, because we're a bit elderly now. But my good friend, I'm not quite sure whether you ever met him, but John Hurdley, who was a solicitor. But John and I would have lunch at least once every other week at the club, and he has been struck down by leukemia. But he's determined that he will defy the illness, and I can barely walk at the moment through Parkinson's, of course, but we're both going to defy the illness, and we're going to totter up there and totter in and have our lunch there as we have last 25 years or whatever. So all the things you enjoyed, I'm going to go back and enjoy very soon myself.
How about you do that in May? I'll come down to Lewis and bring you up to London.
Well, what a lovely idea! We'll let's think in terms of May when you're here for the coronation. You're here, yes. Let's do that. And once again, just to let people know our plans is our carol service was such a huge success. I mean, you've no idea the reverberations, not just of the choir, but of the whole evening. People don't do things traditional anymore, and we do. So we're actually going to have, we think, because I've been negotiating or discussing with the owner of the hotel, Cliff Ayres, we will have a lunch on the Friday before the coronation on the Saturday. So we're going to have a coronation lunch here of some sort. So if you're actually in the country in that period, you must come over for that lunch.
Yeah, I'll be there on the 3rd till the 12th of May.
Right. What's the date? What's the date of the coronation?
I think it's that Friday or Saturday. Maybe that's Saturday.
It's Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 4th or the 5th?
Yeah. I don't
right.
know the exact date, but that's about the time.
All right.
So,
we will negotiate to see whether we can get you down here. I mean, you are quite a popular figure here, you know, and the fact that circumstance prevented you from coming to the carol thing is a huge disappointment. In fact, I was almost chased out of town for promising you were there.
Sorry about that.
I'm never going to be an entrepreneur. I'm not an impresario. I mean, I'm never going to do these things as a regular thing, because if it goes wrong, boy, you get the flack. So the other thing that you did, and which you do every time, and you are quite faithful and religious about this, is you came to Lewis, and you've now been twice to Lewis, I think, and because people watching will be Louisians in the main. What's your impressions of our little town here?
Oh, I just think it's lovely. I so enjoy going there and going down to Bill's. It's so cute. Such a cute little restaurant, or going to the pub in the back, Harvey's. Oh, Harvey's is very nice.
Yes.
So I know that my son made a bitter, um, and
And I have it carefully. Carefully, it's no more than about 20 feet away from me right now.
oh, very
For
good.
some reason, I think that I don't really quite know why. Is I've had some problems establishing contact with Miles Jenner because the plan is to have him taste it and to be on the air with Connor, and that is still the plan. And in fact, I'm going to get the assistance of our former mayor, who is also a great friend of yours, Stephen Catlin, to tie that down, because I'm not getting much. I'm not getting much joy on the internet. Now, normally I would just simply go down there and march into the shop. But marching into anywhere at the moment is a bit of a problem for me, and that's one of the holdups. Is even going down the half mile, I suppose, to the brewery, despite the pull
tough
of
hill.
the beer. Yes, it is. It is a tough one. So we've got that pleasure to come, and Miles Jenner has got the pleasure of Connor's beer, which he thoughtfully put a cap on with the stars and stripes.
I love that. We didn't have time to create a label, but that'll be next.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We can see a cottage industry starting in New York on this.
Yeah, he's gonna make I think maybe this weekend we might make a Czech Pilsner if the brew bags come in. I think he had forgot to order the brew bags, and it really is so much more. It's very convenient to have well, I think the last time he ordered the incorrect brew bag, so we need the correct brew bag now. I'm the cleanup crew.
Well, I must say that between food and drink, if you ever fall on hard times, I'm thinking actually that you and Connor could open up a little bistro restaurant, and the food would be great, and the beer would be even greater. And
sure.
I think the fact that your son's beer has lain in Tom Paine's hotel should be a drawing card for people to come and actually try it.
That's right.
Of course, actually, Harvey's do put out a beer called Tom Paine. Oh, you didn't know that?
No, obviously, bottle to bottle, if you're a home brewer, sometimes they can be different. But I have to say, Connor's bitter was pretty darn good.
Yes.
And
yes.
we were down at Bill's for lunch, and he ordered a Harvey's. And then he, when he tasted it, he's like, "This isn't too far from my bitter." It was this crazy revelation. It was great. So, but we'll see, bottle to bottle how things go, because there's when you're a home brewer, there's not as much, maybe not so much consistency as there would be with a business operation. So, but we'll see.
If it's a basic product is good, the basic product is good.
Yes, it is good. I'll tell you, his Czech Pilsner. Wow, I was shocked, and he also made a cider.
Oh, is he made it or is making it?
He made it. It was very good. I like cider to be a little bit more on the sweet side, so the next brew is going to be more for my taste. And then he wants to branch off into sake, Japanese sake, which is much harder.
Oh yes, it is. But sake, a nice sake is lovely.
Yes.
Hot. One should drink it hot.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Incidentally, you talk about cider, and I can't remember whether I took you into what is considered to be the best pub, Harvey's notwithstanding, which is called the Gardener's Arms, which is on Cliff High Street, because it is only a pub. You can get a pork pie there, I think, and a pickled egg, but they don't do food. It's simply a pub, and it's called the Gardener's Arms because it was once a house and owned by a gardener who used to invite all his pals at the end of a day to have a drink. And eventually they turned it into a pub. But it's a wonderful pub. But I took some Russian friends in there in the days when we were talking to Russia, actually the chap's wife wanted to do some shopping. She went down and she said, "Now you be careful, Maxime. You be very careful." And they had on a cider called Ratcatcher, made by one of the micro breweries around. And he had one Ratcatcher, and he thought this is absolutely superb. And I said, "Well, just be a bit careful on the second one." And when she came back, I was in trouble. So you have to watch that rough cider. Melissa, we are now we've been talking for 20 minutes or more, actually, and it's always a delight. So we'll be in touch in the next couple of days or so, as we start to now formulate our plans for the new year, and we know where we're going. And we have altered the format slightly, in as much as we're now taking sort of 15-minute breaks, so that the programs are slightly shorter, so people can choose which one they want, rather than having to suffer through 3 hours if it's not to their liking. So it's giving us a little bit more freedom to do things and to spend a little bit more time chatting to you. And it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, Keith. Very good to speak to you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Toodle pip.
Toodle pip.
Well, there we go. That's Melissa Conte, and is an award-winning journalist of some considerable reputation in the States that I worked with for a full decade in 1990, and a fine time it was. And we've maintained this friendship, we've maintained a professional relationship, and there she is, free to us, to give us a little background on, first of all, the things that she does to make Americans tick, and also just to bring us up to date with what's going on in the American economy. And I suppose that's come as a slight surprise to me, because I hadn't realized that Donald Trump was going to run again for president. And as she says, what was an interesting situation. A centenarian and a centenarian. Well, not quite, but pretty close to. That's it for this week. We will be back on Monday with the new format. Your usual range of interesting people will be with us. Hopefully, Susanna will be back. Susanna Musho. Melissa will be back. Hopefully, we might just get a little taste of Connor. And I hope that our good friend Rosie Hayes, who runs her own as a lady of some considerable reputation, as an ex-ITN, and I hope that Rosie is going to join us from time to time. Jane Watkins from Hastings. And Liza Page will be back with her alternative views, and she and Max Hurd will do the young and old, and we might even see Alex Hoare back with a gardening program in the not too distant future. So we're building nicely again, and I hope that we are not too far away from starting to broadcast to the world again. People say, Keith, why do you want to broadcast to the world? Because the content that we have isn't parochial. It's local, but it's not parochial. The things that we talk about and discuss and look at here in Lewes are the sort of things that are of interest to many small communities throughout the world. And we like to think that we're distributing so that people can, if they wish, take a look at us. Yes, we're quirky. Yes, we're awful. Yes, we get the technology wrong. Yes, we have people wandering in and out as they come in and out of the hotel. but it's all a great big mix of wonderful fun. And I hope that you will take the time to join us and enjoy us, because we're not a bad lot of people. We're a barrel of fun. Yes, we are. We're a barrel of fun. We have a go. We rip at the establishment. We are all happy with our leadership at whatever level. It's pretty poor right the way through. But we call the spade a shovel. And we get some sort of reaction from people who may not like us, but I think at least they respect the fact that on this station, at least, we have no vested interests calling the shots. People can say what they like, as long as they don't libel, as long as they don't use obscenities. Other than that, it all happens here one way or another over a period of 5 days each week, starting at 8:30 each morning. But you can also get us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and occasionally on Instagram. So do join us, even if you only pop in and we're delighted to get some facts and figures. Is well over 1,000 of you joined us in the last 7 days. Great. Hope you stay with us. Until Monday morning, this is Keith Hayes, Mirador Television, signing off from the White Hart Hotel. What is it that the man from Star Wars, not Star Wars, never mind. It doesn't matter, whichever way. Who's that coming in behind me? Good morning. Oh, they're gone. We frightened them away. Never mind, we're just leaving anyway, but we would have stayed if there's somebody of interest in coming. What is it? Okay, Roger, over and out for this week. I'm Mr. Keith. They call me Mr. Keith. Toodle, 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 pip. Cheerio.